What if the secret to multiplying your money was already inside your home? Not in your bank, not in your job, but sitting quietly on a shelf, waiting to be noticed. A simple jar. Most people chase wealth their whole lives. But what if wealth was already trying to reach you, and you've been blocking it without knowing? Tonight, I'll reveal a ritual so simple it feels impossible, yet it works. One jar, one habit. It rewires your energy, attracts unexpected money, and builds real wealth quietly while you live your life. Pay attention. That's why I have a simple invitation for you right now. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell to receive every practice and teaching on abundance. Like this video and share it with someone who also needs to connect with the frequency of prosperity. And write in the comments, I choose abundance now. What if one simple jar could save you thousands of dollars? Not an app, not a spreadsheet, not a complex investment strategy, just a jar. A clear, ordinary glass jar sitting quietly somewhere in your home. No password, no technology, no market volatility, just something you can hold in your hands. Now imagine this. Every day you walk past that jar. At first, it's empty. It's nothing special. But the moment you drop something inside, a single note, a word, a memory, it begins to change. You begin to change. What if that jar could shift the way you think about money? What if it could turn your focus from fear and lack to gratitude and growth? Because the truth is, wealth doesn't start in your bank account. It starts in your mind. And sometimes, the simplest tools are the ones that bring the greatest transformation. The gratitude jar ritual is one of those tools. It's not about superstition or luck, it's about energy, attention, and repetition. Every time you write a note of gratitude and place it inside that jar, you're planting a seed. Each seed carries the vibration of I already have, and that vibration is what draws more of what you want into your life. But here's the secret. The jar is not just symbolic, it's practical. Because the same mindset that honors what you already have is the mindset that builds more. And when you pair this simple ritual with one small, powerful financial action, something completely automatic, you begin to experience abundance on every level. Think about it. Most people chase wealth through force and pressure. They believe success means constant hustle, more effort, more sacrifice. But the truth is, consistency and alignment build more than chaos ever could. The jar works because it aligns both the emotion of gratitude and the logic of action. When you place that jar in your space, you're sending a signal to your subconscious. I have, I receive, and I build. It becomes a physical anchor for wealth. And every note you add strengthens that signal. Now imagine pairing that with a system that quietly saves money for you. No stress, no discipline required. What if every time you made a purchase, spare change was automatically tucked away, growing without you even noticing? Tiny amounts that compound into something real, something visible, something freeing. So let's come back to that jar. It's not really about the glass. It's about what it represents: awareness. Because the person who becomes aware of their gratitude becomes aware of their money. And awareness is the first step to wealth. So I'll ask you again, what if one simple jar could save you thousands of dollars? And completely rewrite your relationship with money? Because sometimes prosperity doesn't begin with a paycheck. It begins with a single jar and one small act of gratitude. Here's the promise. When you combine daily gratitude with automated saving, your entire relationship with money transforms. You stop chasing it, and it begins flowing naturally toward you. The gratitude jar isn't about luck or superstition. It's about shifting the energy that surrounds your finances. When you focus on gratitude, you train your mind to see abundance instead of absence. You stop obsessing over what hasn't arrived and start honoring what already exists. And that small mental shift changes everything, because what you appreciate, appreciates. Now, the Roundup Savings Hack is the perfect partner to this ritual. Every time you buy something, a coffee, groceries, gas, your bank app rounds the total to the next dollar. and moves those spare cents into savings automatically. It's invisible, effortless, and surprisingly powerful. Imagine this. While your jar fills with handwritten notes of gratitude, your savings account quietly fills with real money. Each represents the same principal: growth through small, consistent actions. Every note you write and every cent that's saved tell the same story. I am building my future. You see, wealth doesn't happen in one big moment. It happens in the accumulation of tiny, repeated choices. The gratitude jar trains your emotional energy. The Roundup hack trains your financial discipline. Together, they create a loop: energy in action, feeling, and form. Think about how different this feels from traditional saving. There's no stress, no guilt, no restriction. You aren't forcing yourself to save. You're allowing it to happen automatically. You aren't waiting to feel abundant. You're declaring abundance daily. This is why this combination works. It blends mindset with mechanism, spirit with structure. Let's be honest. Most people try to fix their money problems from the outside. They download budgeting apps, cut expenses, or chase quick income hacks. But without changing the energy inside, the way you feel about money, nothing sticks. Gratitude changes that. Gratitude dissolves resistance, turns fear into flow, and attracts opportunities you once overlooked. And on the practical side, Roundup Savings harnesses the power of automation. It removes willpower from the equation and replaces it with certainty. You'll never notice a few cents leaving your account, but over time, those cents become hundreds, and then thousands. The promise is simple but profound. When gratitude and automation meet, wealth becomes effortless. You'll begin to see money as a living cycle. What you appreciate returns. What you automate multiplies. The jar feeds your energy. The app feeds your account, and both quietly prove that abundance isn't luck, it's rhythm. So if you're ready to build wealth the easy way, not through force, but through flow, remember this. One small act of gratitude and one invisible system of saving can change everything. The promise isn't just financial growth. It's emotional freedom. Because once you start living in gratitude and letting money grow on autopilot, you don't chase prosperity anymore. You become it. Michael didn't think of himself as someone who could ever save money. He was good at earning it, but somehow it always slipped through his fingers: bills, habits, distractions. At the end of every month, his account would hover near zero, and he'd promise himself, next month will be different. But it never really was, until one morning, something shifted. He heard about the gratitude jar ritual, how writing one note a day could reprogram the way you relate to money. It sounded simple, almost too simple. But that was exactly why he decided to try. He took an empty glass jar from his kitchen, cleaned it, and placed it on his nightstand. That night, he wrote a small note. I'm grateful for the $50 refund I received. He folded the paper carefully and dropped it in. The sound of it landing at the bottom felt strangely satisfying, like planting a seed. The next night, he wrote again. Sometimes it was big things: a new client, a raise, a paid bill. Other times it was small: finding $1 on the street or getting a free coffee. He didn't miss a single day. At the same time, he decided to automate something new: his Roundup Savings. Every time he swiped his card, his bank rounded the purchase up to the nearest dollar and transferred the difference into a separate savings account. He didn't feel the change leave his wallet, but it added up quietly in the background. Weeks passed, then months. The jar began to fill. Dozens of notes, then hundreds, each one a moment of gratitude, each one a record of abundance. And just as his jar was filling, his Roundup account was too. At the end of the first year, Michael opened his savings app and stared in disbelief. Over $1,000 had accumulated, without him trying, without budgeting, without stress. It had just happened. But the real transformation wasn't in the balance, it was in his mindset. Michael said, "The moment I stopped focusing on what I didn't have, I started noticing how much was already working in my favor. Something powerful had shifted. He didn't just see money as numbers anymore. He saw it as energy. The jar had retrained his attention. The app had retrained his behavior. Together, they built a rhythm that created effortless prosperity. By the end of that year, Michael wasn't just saving automatically, he was living differently. He walked taller, made decisions from abundance instead of fear, and found himself attracting opportunities he once ignored. When asked if the jar or the app made the difference, he smiled and said, "Neither. It was both. The jar changed my energy. The Roundup changed my habits. And that combination changed my life." Michael's story is a reminder. Wealth doesn't arrive through luck or struggle. It arrives through alignment. Gratitude focuses your energy. Automation protects your results. Together, they prove that abundance is built one note, one coin, one small act at a time. Let's talk about the simple financial move that quietly multiplies your savings, the Roundup Savings Hack. You've probably seen it in your banking app, but never realized how powerful it can be. Here's how it works. Every time you make a purchase, let's say you buy a coffee for $4.60, your bank automatically rounds it up to the next dollar and transfers the extra 40 cents into a separate savings account. It's automatic, effortless, and invisible. You don't feel the difference, but your balance does. Those few cents, multiplied over hundreds of transactions, grow into hundreds or even thousands of dollars over time. Apps like Acorns, Chime, Revolut, Sophie, Ally, and even traditional banks now have this feature. All you have to do is turn it on once. That's it. No budgets, no spreadsheets, no discipline battles. The system saves for you while you live your life. Now here's why it works so well. Behavioral psychology shows that small, consistent wins release dopamine, the same chemical your brain releases when you achieve a goal. Each tiny roundup creates a subconscious reward, reinforcing the behavior of saving without you even trying. It removes the pain of paying and replaces it with a sense of progress. And when you connect this to your gratitude jar ritual, you activate something extraordinary. Emotional awareness paired with automatic action. Each note you drop into your jar strengthens your appreciation for what you already have. Each roundup you make quietly builds the foundation for what's coming next. One trains your energy. The other trains your system. Let's do the math. If you use your card daily, the average roundup adds about 50 cents per transaction. That's roughly $15 a week or nearly $800 a year, just from spare change you wouldn't have noticed. Add small manual deposits or cashbacks, and you can easily cross $1,000 without any conscious effort. Now imagine what happens when your mindset and money move together. Every note in the jar says, "I am abundant." Every digital roundup says, "I am building wealth." It's the same vibration, one physical, one financial. The secret is consistency, not size. You don't need to save large amounts. You just need to let the habit run long enough for compounding to do its magic. Over months and years, those tiny savings become a powerful reserve, your emergency fund, your investment seed, your freedom account. So here's your next step. Tonight, open your banking app and look for the Roundup Savings or automatic spare change option. Activate it. Then, place your gratitude jar where you'll see it daily. The moment you add a note, remember your money is already working for you behind the scenes. This isn't just a tip, it's a shift. You're linking emotion and automation, gratitude and growth. And when those two work together, your wealth no longer feels distant, it becomes inevitable. The gratitude jar isn't just a container, it's an energy anchor. Every time you write something you're grateful for and place it inside, you're doing more than keeping a memory. You're anchoring vibration into form. You're transforming invisible energy, thought, emotion, gratitude into something tangible that your subconscious can see and recognize. Mystically speaking, this is powerful. The jar becomes a mirror of your inner state. Each note you place inside carries a frequency, thankfulness, abundance, trust, and over time, that energy accumulates. When you look at your jar, you don't just see paper. You see proof that you are already abundant. And that belief starts shaping your outer reality, because energy follows attention. When you focus on what you appreciate, the universe brings you more of it. Gratitude shifts your vibration from wanting to having, and that shift is what opens the door for money, ideas, and opportunities to flow toward you. But there's also a scientific side to this magic. Neuroscientists have found that gratitude rewires the brain. When you express it daily, your neural pathways strengthen in areas related to optimism, creativity, and problem solving. It lowers cortisol levels, the stress hormone that blocks clear financial decisions, and increases dopamine, the chemical of motivation. In other words, gratitude literally trains your brain to see opportunities where fear once saw obstacles. And then comes the Roundup savings hack, the financial twin of your gratitude jar. If the jar is your spiritual anchor, the Roundup system is your behavioral one. It takes advantage of a psychological principle known as the habit loop, a cue, a routine, and a reward. Each time your app rounds up a few cents, it gives your brain a silent win. You don't see it happening, but your nervous system registers progress. Over time, this rewires your financial behavior toward consistency instead of impulse. So while the gratitude jar trains your energy to expect abundance, the Roundup feature trains your habits to support it. One rewires your emotions, the other rewires your actions. And together, they create a feedback loop of prosperity. Even at the quantum level, this pattern exists. Physics shows that observation changes outcome. What you focus on, you influence. When you place attention on gratitude and pair it with a real-world system that multiplies your money, you align your thoughts with measurable results. You bridge the invisible and the visible, the energy and the economy. It's no coincidence that both rituals involve small, repeated actions, because both the universe and the brain respond to consistency. Tiny acts done daily carry far more creative power than one big effort done occasionally. So remember this truth. Your gratitude jar is not just spiritual decor. It's a living statement of belief. Your Roundup Savings app is not just financial automation. It's a daily proof of alignment. One connects you to infinite possibility. The other proves that possibility can take form. And when they work together, your inner world and outer world move in sync, creating abundance that feels natural, grounded, and unstoppable. Now that you understand the power behind the gratitude jar and the Roundup Savings hack, let's put it all into action. Because knowing changes nothing, doing changes everything. This is your step-by-step ritual to merge energy and practicality, gratitude and growth. Step 1. Choose your jar. Find a simple, clear jar. It doesn't need to be fancy or expensive. In fact, the more ordinary it is, the better, because what makes it powerful isn't what it's made of, but what you'll place inside. Wash it, dry it, and give it a home somewhere visible. Your desk, your knitstand, or even the kitchen counter. This jar will become your energy anchor, the physical symbol of your abundance. Step 2. Write your gratitude note. Each morning or night, take a small piece of paper. Write down one thing you are grateful for. It could be something big. I received a new client. I paid off a bill, or something simple, like I had a peaceful walk. I laughed today, or I have a warm bed. The secret is to feel the gratitude while you write. Let your heart soften for a second. Feel that spark of warmth in your chest. That's the energy that activates abundance. Step 3. Place the note in the jar and smile. Fold your note gently and drop it inside the jar. As it lands, smile. Yes, smile. That tiny gesture tells your subconscious that wealth, joy, and gratitude are safe emotions for you to feel. This is important because your mind only repeats what feels safe. Step 4. Activate your Roundup Savings now. Open your banking app. Look for the option called Roundup Savings or Spare Change Saver. Turn it on. If your bank doesn't offer it, use an app like Acorns, Chime, or Revolut. Once you activate it, forget about it. It will quietly save for you in the background. Every time you buy something, a few cents will move into your savings automatically. It's invisible discipline wealth building while you live your life. Step 5. Link the two energies each time you add a note to your jar. Whisper softly, "My gratitude grows, and so does my wealth." Visualize your jar filling up with notes and your savings account filling up with money. Let them mirror each other, two reflections of one energy. Step 6. Celebrate the growth. At the end of each month, take a moment to read a few of your gratitude notes. Watch how much has changed. Then check your savings balance. It will surprise you. You'll realize that small actions, repeated consistently, have been quietly building something extraordinary. Because wealth is not about one giant leap, it's about hundreds of small steps taken with intention. So tonight, begin your ritual. Place your jar. Write your first note. Activate your roundup. And know that from this moment on, your gratitude and your money are finally working together. Each note is a seed. Each cent is a root. And together, they grow into wealth one day, one smile, one sunrise at a time. Every ritual has a key, a phrase that seals its power and tells the universe, "I'm ready." Words are energy. They carry vibration. When spoken with emotion, they become commands, not just wishes. Your activation phrase for this ritual is simple, but it carries the essence of everything you've built so far. Repeat it now, slowly. Small seeds grow into wealth. At first, it might sound gentle, even ordinary. But say it again. Feel it. Because those 5 words hold an entire truth about abundance. Every seed, every coin, every note of gratitude, every act of consistency is alive. You might not see it growing yet, but beneath the surface, something is happening. The energy of appreciation and the mechanism of saving are merging, expanding, taking root. When you say, "Small seeds grow into wealth," you're not talking about fantasy, you're speaking about natural law. In nature, everything big starts small. A forest begins with a seed. A river begins with a drop. A fortune begins with $1 saved, one moment of gratitude felt. This phrase reminds your mind and spirit that you don't need to rush. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to plant, water, and trust. Here's how to use it. Each time you add a note to your jar, say the phrase softly, "Small seeds grow into wealth." Each time you buy something and remember your roundup is working quietly in the background, repeat it in your thoughts. When you feel impatient, wondering if abundance is really coming, say it again. This phrase retrains your subconscious to believe that consistency, not chaos, builds fortune. That small actions are sacred. That gratitude and money are not separate energies. They are two expressions of growth. If you truly feel it, your energy begins to shift. You move from wanting to knowing, from chasing to attracting, from waiting to allowing. Let's say it together one more time. Small seeds grow into wealth. Say it as a promise. Say it as a truth. Say it as a declaration to your future self that you are done with scarcity. Because wealth doesn't arrive in one explosion of luck. It blossoms slowly, just like a seed in the soil of faith. So each day, as your jar fills and your account grows, remember this phrase. Whisper it into your mornings, breathe it into your nights, and let it echo every time you take a small, conscious action. One phrase, one belief, one truth. Small seeds grow into wealth. And with that, your ritual is sealed. The energy is set. The cycle of gratitude and growth has begun. From this moment forward, every word you speak, every cent you save, every note you write becomes part of your abundance story. Now it's your turn. You've seen how a simple jar can shift your mindset, how a few cents can quietly build your savings, and how gratitude can transform your relationship with money. But none of this truly begins until you decide to act. So take this as your sign, the moment where thought becomes action, where intention becomes momentum. You don't need to wait for the perfect time. You don't need to know every step ahead. All you need to do is begin today. Here's what I want you to do right now. Look around your home and find your jar. Maybe it's empty, maybe it's hidden in a corner, or maybe you'll grab a glass from your kitchen. Hold it in your hands. Feel its simplicity. This is your starting point, the space where gratitude will live. Next, make your declaration to the universe and to yourself. Go to the comments right now and type these exact words. My jar multiplies money. When you write it, don't treat it like just another comment. See it as a contract, a small but powerful commitment that says, I am ready for abundance. I am ready to grow. Every person who types those words adds energy to this collective ritual. Together, we create a field of gratitude so strong that it amplifies for everyone who joins. Then, take a deep breath. Hit the like button to anchor this energy. When you do, you're not just supporting the video, you're signaling to your own mind, I align with prosperity. Next, subscribe and turn on the notification bell, because this isn't a one-time moment, it's the beginning of a journey. Each video here carries another key, another practice, another way to expand your abundance in both the spiritual and financial dimensions of your life. And finally, share this message with someone you love, someone who needs to stop chasing and start receiving, because abundance expands when it's shared. The more people you invite into gratitude, the more the energy multiplies. Remember, this is not just content, it's activation. Every small act you take here, every comment, every like, every moment of awareness adds to your vibration of wealth. So take a moment right now and declare it with your full heart. My jar multiplies money. Say it once. Type it once, but feel it every day. Because wealth isn't waiting for you somewhere far away. It's building note by note, coin by coin, moment by moment, right where you are. You've already planted the seed. Now nurture it with gratitude, protect it with action, and watch as it grows into the life you've always imagined. This is your time. This is your ritual. And from today forward, your jar multiplies money.